Welcome to the PsyOp. Late night PsyOp. All day PsyOp. Calm down. You've been duped, and there's nothing you can do. Late night PsyOp. The PsyOp don't stop. Don't get triggered like a little bitch. We all know that the news is all lies and Epstein is still alive. All the shootings are fake, the elite never die. Voting is a lie. To pacify the public, it's a rigged system of plutocrat puppets. But then you vote cause they sold your hope. Hit the dank, the coke, the chill. Nothing you see is real and nothing will get better. Shout out to the gatekeepers. We know you're fake cause you promote aliens, UFOs and politics, Terraria, Mandela effect and other stupid shit. Only noobs think that shit exists. Obvious gatekeepers working for the state. The script is tired and predictable and too late. I seen your IMDb, be a sure sign of inauthenticity. You never speak on the flat earth. Do a pole map, challenge a hoax, out of ponds, a building 7, all the little hat bagel eaters. Just spreading more misdirection if you do speak on flat earth. It's with the Strawman pushing domes and religious maps. Low-key jet suits, not the dual pole flat earth map, no. No, don't ever talk about that. Only the false dichotomy of the eye, see map a globe. Only with fake leaders promoting outdated ideas and trying to sell in apps, begging for donations. Worlds beyond the poles, what you know about that? King's throne, you never read that. Just promote a tinfoil hat. What you know about the Kobayashi map? Jarla Andy Hoy and the ill-fated Berserker crew. Brian Mullen balls out, physics forced the line. The Sagnac effect, it's failure. The Mickelson-Morley experiment, the Bedford level experiment. All the laser tests over water and frozen lakes, no curvature ever detected. P900 videos that show no curvature. Water is always flat at rest. No, it curved like on a globe, a fact of hydrostatic. Show me the bendy water, the horizon is flat at any height and Sagnac your eyes. Cause there's no downward curvature, only more land. What's the curvature formula? You don't know cause you never did any research. You dismiss everything with incredulity and ridicule. But you think you're on a globe, ha ha ha. You all been duped, stop listening to gatekeepers, influencers, spreading misdirection. Think for yourself, experts told you what to think. The news lies and the government lies, but not science, never history. To do a little research, you'll see that the plutocrats wrote our textbooks, changed our history. Took us from our families at an early age to indoctrinate, brainwash and manipulate. They use science to lie, experts spreading degrees like Freemasonry. You can't trust your own mind or senses, but you see the sun move, it's clearly moving, and we feel no motion. Late night PsyOp, all day they running. PsyOp, supplement is flat earth. A new straw man spreading stupid shit about doppelgangers and clones and fallen angels to cover up the challenger hoax. Fuck the Wi-Fi's, looking for views, spreading fake news. Gatekeep because it's what you're paid to do. You never looked into flat earth and dismiss it as ridiculous. That's how we know you're not about shit. Fuck Jeranism and his whole wife. The final experiment was not final but totally date. No one cares what you have to say. Shape-shifting clown begging for pay. Obvious provocator from day one. Unsubscribe, don't even thumb down. Block the clown, still up the 24/7 debates. They suck your energy and waste your time. Full-time debunkers pushing logical fallacies and sophistry. Turn it off, go outside, touch grass. The rare feelings won't last, just ignore them, move on. It's lame and boring science nerds employed by the state or used for idiots. Recite the script with a spreadsheet of responses. Shout out to Jay Brain. Welcome to the PsyOp. Shout out to Feds and Teddy C. Gatekeeping PsyOp. Shout out to Hitch. Late night PsyOp. Shout out to Big Mac, Miller Lite. All day PsyOp. Rest in peace, Zorn. Rest in peace, P.P. here. Fuck the gatekeepers. Pull over, man. Calm down, DJ Trigger hard. Manny, you little biatch, need God. We never went to the moon. The rockets of balloons, videos of cartoons, CGI and Satelloons. Public of illiterate buffoons, trusting plutocrat goons. We never went to the moon, we never went to the moon. Yeah, we never went to the moon. We never went to the moon. Yeah, we never went to the moon. Look at the tapes, studio lighting and trampoline, close horizon, obvious background, sheer projection with the Rover, dusty ground, but footprints. Firework display when they lift off from Apollo 17. Who recovered that footage? They say it was a remote camera, but then they shut it off. What kind of batteries did they have in 1969? No one questions the plot holes. Temperatures ranging from 250 Fahrenheit to negative 250 Fahrenheit, but knew it history was size AC. No furnace in the spacesuit, insulation and water running through it. Ha 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 ha. But you believe it. Let's all take shrooms. Fuck watching the news. Let's all take shrooms. Fuck watching the news. Watching the news. Watching the news. Something. Watching the news. Watching the news.
Something.
Yo.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude? I was trying to get FaZe up in here.
Yeah, man, we need to get FaZe. I like him the most. I mean, I like everybody in our group, but I like FaZe the most.
Well, we were talking yesterday, and we were gonna talk about this moon bullshit, this fake moon shit, you know. And he had like a bunch of stuff.
Did they really use the same image of like Earth above the moon, the same image from 1560s?
I don't know. He's the one that posted that. I didn't look into it. I haven't looked into any of it because to me it's just a waste of time to look into. Like we didn't go the first time, so we definitely didn't go the second time. So.
It's pathetic, man. Pathetic.
All anyone has to do is look at the footage from the first 6 missions, Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. And it's really bad. There's nothing good about it. Like, especially the Rover looks like rear projection. It looks like studio lighting, first of all, because it would be pitch black. It would be pitch black. Like, if you go to the desert, have you ever been to the desert, dude? It's pitch black, darkness. If you turn off your lights and you're in the desert, you can't fucking see shit. You sure as hell can't see the mountains in the distance. But they have a little light. And even if you had a light, if you had your headlights on and you're in the desert and the mountains are way off, you're not going to see the outline. You're not going to see the mountains. You're not going to see all of the mountains. You might see part, like that little part that your lights, you know what I mean? But you look at those videos and everything's lit up. The whole moon is lit up. And you can see the horizon. And the horizon, if they just turned around and reached, they would touch the fucking horizon. It's that close. And that's not how horizons work. You know what I mean? It's like, horizon is...
It probably depends. Like, you have the lit part of the moon and the dark part of the moon, depending on where it is in the sun position, basically.
But they're not where... They were never where the sun was on, right? Or something like that. They weren't... I don't know, man, but... That whole shit would be lit up. Obviously, you've seen the footage, right? They're all in the dark.
Yeah.
They're in the dark, but it's kind of lit up. And it's totally studio lighting. It can't be anything else. It's... and, dude, studio lighting is really strong lighting just to barely light up some darkness. So, like, there's no way they had that much power with lights. And back then, dude, they didn't have fucking what we have now. They weren't using fluorescent lights. They're using fucking halogen Like, dude, did they have high pressure sodium lights back then, or like HPS lights use a lot of fucking electricity, you know? Halogen uses a lot of electricity, so it's like the whole story. It's just there's just so many things you could break down and be like, doesn't make any fucking sense.
I doubt they have a problem using, I don't know, entire city worth of electricity for their projects. Like, they don't give a fuck. They can use all the electricity they want.
But what kind of battery did they have? They're in space for how many days? And they just had this unlimited battery?
In the studio. No, not in space.
When you're driving your car,
like,
you have your alternator regenerating shit. But they're not driving a car. They're in a spaceship. Nothing's regenerating.
Yeah, in space they have the same batteries that the cars used to have. I mean, that's what they had at the time.
That Rover that they were driving around, that shit didn't have no alternator. That shit just had wheels and a fucking battery. It was like an electric car. And they're driving, they're going off dunes and shit. It's like a dune buggy and shit. They're kicking up dust. There's all this loose gravel. The powder, there's all this loose powder everywhere. They're stomping around and powder's going everywhere. Meanwhile, they're leaving footprints. How do you leave a footprint in powder? I don't know. Like in real, when you go to the beach, you've been to the beach, right? And you're walking in the sand.
Yeah.
There's no real footprints unless it's wet right there, right? You just you're leaving like these big fucking circles. Not even circles, just, you know what I mean? Just disturbed sand. But they're leaving fucking footprints. You know?
Yeah, sand has to be moist to leave footprints. It's like where the ocean is, you can leave footprints when the ocean goes away. I mean, this type of thing. Maybe they're saying that the dust there is not the same here because, like, the particles here, they're more rounded because of the winds and they kind of like friction on each other. You know, they're smooth out basically. And the dust on the moon supposedly very sharp edges and like it sticks to you and
there's
maybe they can make an excuse. There's dust is different. That's why.
And how is there even dust on the moon when there's no wind? How did the dust come about? There's no wind to make the dust to break down the rocks. You know what I mean? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
There's so much shit, dude. When you really think about it, you're like, what? Hold up. What else, dude? It's crazy that like logical people accept it. They're just like trying to come up with answers. Like, no, it'll work. Fuck, dude.
I mean, they accept like miracles and everything in the science. Basically, and they accept the impossibility of what's going on as totally normal, like the moon, like the origin of the moon story, or why is it like facing us just like with one side all the time. But more fundamental is the origin of the moon. Like they have no answer why is the moon composed of materials it is composed of and doesn't have the iron in it, because they're saying it was like our planet was forming wherever and some third body, there was no moon, our proto planet is forming and some third body, not the moon, just passed by and hit us. And maybe even it was a double collision because one collision doesn't explain it. And they're saying it took a piece of our proto-Earth and that became the moon. But the moon, like Earth, has a bunch of iron in it. It has iron core and the large percentage of iron in it. And the moon doesn't have the iron core or so much iron. So, like, if you scoop a part of the Earth, you'll get the same thing. How did it scoop part of the Earth and then select it?
okay, we're not gonna have iron in that. Like,
How
how
the fuck does that happen? They have no answer. No theoretical they can come up with any fucking thing because you won't be able to check it. It was like 5 billion years ago,
Yeah.
according to them.
Yeah.
They can come up with any fairy tale, and they
Yeah.
can't. The fact that they can't, they don't have a solid theory of how it originated.
dude.
Just tells us the system is like fucking. It's not.
They know
it's
what
not
happened
what
5
they're
million
saying.
years ago, but not 100 years ago. That's what's funny. Or like 200 years
They
ago.
don't have the answers. They just don't have the fucking answers. It's. They might as well say like God did it. It's in the Bible, whatever the darkness
Yeah.
was divided and then light came and whatever the fuck Genesis story. Like it's science is. For the no, somewhere science is very solid. Like they can
Yeah.
calculate things.
Well,
and
science
it's
on Earth.
but.
Earth
But
science.
these things like moon, how it works, what it is, how it became the way that it is, they have no fucking answers. And that's funny because like that tells us something because they could lie, they could fucking come up with whatever the fuck they want a story. Just it was a triple collision of 7 bodies and like they can say whatever because it's statistically possible if
That's
you
what
have
they do.
billions of years.
And then they'll come
Anything
back
is
later and
possible.
be like, no, it wasn't that. It was this.
And it's not just moon, it's most of the space like physics. It's really based on like flimsy measurements that they assume are real, but they're not really real. And all,
Do you
all
know?
of
Do you
this
know about?
stuff
Do you
is
know about the Lovejoy comet? The Lovejoy comet? No.
somewhat like I mean I heard about it.
Look up the Lovejoy comet, and it's a comet that spits out fermented alcohol throughout the universe.
Well, that's why it's called Lovejoy.
Dude, it's just complete nonsense, dude.
No, they're also saying that the comets in the space, regular comets, maybe this is like a special one, it spews alcohol. No, they're saying regular comets produce hydrocarbons. Did they have dinosaurs that lived and then got swept away, or the what are they called? Not microbial, like in the sea, plankton. Like they're claiming that oil is ancient plankton in the sea that like fucking turned into oil under pressures and temperature. Like what part of that the comets have? How the fuck do they have hydrocarbons? And they're like they emit. They look at the spectrum what comet emits when it goes like next to the sun or becomes an active phase basically, and they're like, oh yeah, those are hydrocarbons. Like how the fuck that is possible? Like their theory doesn't explain fucking anything.
To make alcohol, you need yeast and you need sugar, right? Yeast is like this microscopic shit in the air that floats around, that's on Earth. And I don't believe it can exist without some sort of atmosphere or something, right? But maybe I have it wrong. I don't know how yeast exists. But you need yeast and you need sugar. And to get sugar is grown from a plant, right? Either beets or fucking sugar cane or fruit has natural sugars, right? And that's how you make alcohol. You got to have those two ingredients, and then you got to have heat. And then you put that shit together, and then it creates carbon dioxide and alcohol. But this is like this comet is making fermented alcohol somehow. It makes no fucking sense. And how do they even know that shit? That shit's just flying by, or they looked in a telescope and they're like, yep, that shit's making alcohol. But there's also, you know about it's raining diamonds on Uranus and Neptune.
They can say whatever. They can say like anything. Because I won't be able to check. I won't be able to go to Uranus and check if do they have diamonds or not. They can say, oh, it's raining fucking leprechauns and fucking gremlins and
It's
fucking-
raining
it's
liquid
illogical.
diamonds. Liquid diamonds.
Liquid diamonds. Okay.
That's real shit, man. That's what they're saying. Neptune and it's like, well, fuck. If there's all these diamonds, we should probably get over there, right? If diamonds is such a hot commodity that we need, I don't know, man. But there's a lot of problems with the heliocentric model, you know. Venus at night.
Their whole physics is based on fucking nothing. Just 100 years ago, just 100, say 50 years ago, they knew nothing of physics, only the basic things. And after that, they like made up a solid theory that totally makes
They knew
sense.
shit. They knew shit like 200 years ago at least, dude. They knew some shit. They knew chemistry. Chemistry got big in like the late 1700s, right?
Chemistry, they didn't know basic elements up until 1800s. Only in 1800s they
Like the
started
early-
like isolating and naming the basic chemicals, the elements that we use
Well, like
today.
the 1790s, Joseph
Yeah,
Priestley.
late 1700s. That's when they just the beginning, and most of the discovery happens in like next century.
Yeah, late 1790s, it really kicked off, and yeah, early 1800s. But physics, they've known that, I think, even longer than chemistry.
No, they didn't. They
No?
like.
What about
Space
Archimedes?
physics, cosmology, and everything. This is like 20th century. This is.
I'm
when
saying physics on
Hubble-
this Earth, physics on Earth, which can be proven. But when you're talking about astrophysics, it's like, man, nobody can prove that shit. We ain't up there.
No, more than that, there is geophysics. Like, this is our planet. There is obviously something inside, or whatever is a flat disk, or whatever the fuck. There is something deep below. Like, there is something there
Well,
made
like
of.
geology, they call it a soft science. It's not a hard science. And so they tell us in school that the crust is 100 miles down, then the mantle, then the core. But they never dug past 8 fucking miles. So
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly.
It's all speculation.
Their prediction. And when they dug this 8 miles, all their predictions were wrong. What's there 8 miles below? Not like 100 or 1,000 miles below. What's 8 miles below? They were wrong.
they couldn't dig any further, they said, because all their bits were just burning up, just being destroyed. So they got to 8 miles and it was just a wrap. They couldn't. Supposedly,
I
that's what
think
the
they
Russians
got
said.
to This, and it was destroying the whole science, and then they stopped. And because America also had few projects of like deep drilling, and all of a sudden like we stopped, like we don't care anymore what's below us. We'll go to fucking moon. We'll go to fucking outer solar system with our.
They're probably still
spaceships or
digging. They're
whatever.
not going to tell
But
us because
we don't care what's below us, and we're not digging, discovering it since the fucking it was first tried, and they were like, oh no, now maybe we have better technologies. Now we have fucking AI. They can calculate whatever. Like you use that. Let's discover. Maybe there are fucking huge diamonds right below there, and like gold and fucking whatever the fuck you need, lithium. Or you need like rare earth minerals. Maybe there is like a shit ton of them. Just like fucking dig and see. And
they know where they are. They know where they
don't
are.
give a fuck.
They know where the diamonds are. They're like, I think someone found a bunch of diamonds in Canada and they fucking bought that shit up quick. Shut those motherfuckers up. You know what I mean? To keep the scarcity of diamonds. And
Yeah, that's another thing, because diamonds are like not needed at all, practically. Maybe in some microelectronics, light systems might need some little diamonds, but nobody gives a fuck. It's not like it's necessary. Nobody gives a fuck if you have a ring with a diamond or a glass fucking.
they're good
piece
for
there.
drill bits,
Like,
diamond drill bits, cutting stuff.
maybe that.
But that's about it. Yeah, the whole diamond market is some bullshit. Like girls think like it's some dumb shit, and people are like they put a value on nothing, and that's all it is.
That's like response. That's a reflective of the whole fucking system. It's a fake hype. It's a fake shit. Like, oh yeah, diamonds will make you like rich, like look rich and high status person if you have give your wife or whatever bride a fucking diamond shit. Like nobody gives a fuck, man. It's reality. Like nobody gives a fuck if it's fucking platinum or white gold or fucking red gold or diamonds. Like nobody. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just like fucking ornamentation. Is like what's the difference? You paint your house black or blue or white. It's like it doesn't fucking matter. If one of those costs like $1 billion and all the other ones that like it cost $1,000, choose the one for the 1,000. Save the fucking money. Save the fucking resources for the useful things. Like you're not saving. Like with this diamond ring, it's not gonna bring you any practical fucking benefit at all. It's just like a fucking decorative thing on a ring that not everybody wears, and it's like it's just gonna be on a shelf, wasted thousands of dollars, which could be invested into something like, you know, useful, maybe some business, or you want to be like philanthropic, help some fucking whatever kids with cancer or something like that. Just don't waste this fucking money on this piece of stone and metal or whatever, like a piece of fucking carbon. Like, what's the point? It's just stupid. It's just stupid to take thousands of dollars and invest them in the piece of carbon that it just lays on the shelf, or maybe it looks pretty. Like that's just retarded. And the way they made us do it, it shows how retarded we are and how easily we are to manipulate. Like diamonds are the girl's best friend and shit, and like all the Hollywood, like, oh, she wears diamonds. Look at those diamonds. Like I don't give a fuck. It's just fucking pieces of carbon, man.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I'm gonna show the. Can you see the watch page or?
Let me open it.
I'm gonna play a couple short videos that I have on my channel that are of the moon. These are from the fucking moon landings, right? I took clips from every moon landing from official NASA films that were of the rover, because the rover is so, to me, it's obviously fake, you know. Here, I'll show this one. This is wait, what the fuck? Hold on, let me go back. The fuck? Hold on. Where the fuck? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Look at that shit.
I think I see it with some delay, but yeah.
That's not what I meant to. Let me. Where's the? I was trying to show the one with the rover. Hold on. What the fuck?
Yeah, who's filming that?
Yeah.
Did they
Well, their story is it was a remote camera, but look at this.
remote camera? Really? Really? You're gonna bring a remote fucking device in?
And they only used it for that, and then they shut it off. They could have had a.
It's not just a remote camera, because it's got to transmit. It's got to take,
Yeah.
like, if it's a camera.
Oh, it's got a transmitter, bro.
it
Trust
recorders
us.
Like think about it, like a television set. Like if you have, like back in the days, now it's everything digital and you transmit the digital signal. But before, if you have a camera, you need to transmit that signal. Like you gotta have a device that converts the signal into, like, converts the video into the signal that can be transmitted, and then a strong transmitter to send that signal to Earth. So like they're saying is like it's so expensive to bring a kilogram of stuff. That's why they're so limited with what they bring. But they bring this thing just to transmit a
Hey,
few fucking seconds of a liftoff. Like
but
it makes no sense.
do you see this rover though? This rover footage right here I'm showing?
Yeah.
Dude, look how close the horizon is.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here with that. The
Because
horizon's
it's
right
the end of the set.
and it's all lit up. Everything's lit up. It's not just like if you had
Yeah.
headlights on in the dark. It's all lit up. It's studio lighting. It's so in your face. And people are like, no. Like, dude, it wouldn't be lit up like that. If you had headlights or you had some one light on that fucking car, it wouldn't look perfect lighting right there. It's just so dumb, man. Show another one. They're all bad. All the rear projection Apollo, they're all the same. They're all bad. It's just a fucking thing going up and down, and the screen is changing the moon background. And they probably filmed. You know, there's a place in Hawaii called the Apollo Valley, and it looks just like, you know, the moon surface. And that's probably where they filmed all that. That's where they did the training for Apollo. Was at the Apollo Valley in Hawaii.
Well, that's the thing. You do the training. Well, you do the training, you do the videotaping, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, they already been there. Yeah, we have the proof. The footage is there. And like,
Yeah.
it's the training. It's most of it is the training.
There's some NASA. I should try to find the NASA. Let me try to find the NASA Apollo Valley. It's in Hawaii. Hold up. Oh, here's some OG shit. 1965 footage. No sound. Hold up.
You can be certain if you study history, or at least like well documented history, let's say.
Yeah.
Past 20th century, if you study it well, you'll see that it's clear that the governments are compulsive liars. They lie through their teeth.
Yeah.
They lie all their fucking time. They don't care if they get exposed. They don't care about morality. They don't care about, like, you know, well-being of the people and all of that. They're mean to deceive and to fool the people. And now, like, they lie here.
Look at that.
they
Look at that
know
right
they're
there.
here.
See that? That's the Apollo
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
And they probably just filmed all that shit when no one was around. And that was the background. It's not all rocky like that. Some of it's smooth. I forget what island it's on, but it's in Hawaii. And it's
You can
still
see it's volcanic. Yeah.
It's
volcanic top.
it's a national park. So it hasn't changed. It still looks the same to this day. So, yeah. Most likely that's where they filmed the background footage. But then they put that in a soundstage somewhere. Probably, you know, one of the... They put this in mainstream, like, jokes and shit, is that Howard Hughes... Now they say, what's his name? Kubrick filmed it. Or Kubrick filmed it and Howard Hughes funded it. You know what I mean? So they say Howard Hughes funded it. Kubrick directed it. And it was filmed at a fucking airport hangar at an airport in Las Vegas that Howard Hughes controlled at the... He owned an airport from like 67 to fucking 70 something. And it was just a little airport at the time. Now it's like a bigger airport and a lot of people go there. But back then, during the moon landing times, no one really went there. But supposedly it was filmed at some soundstage there. Or not, I mean, airport hangar, a big ass hangar. Which is plausible, I think. Look at this fool. All these fools were drunks too. They were all big drinkers.
Of course. Everybody was back then.
They're Air Force, dude. Military. Everybody drank. That's why his name was Buzz.
I mean, it's the only way they can. Otherwise, they would be stressed by their
Yeah, they gotta lie to the world.
that they have to lie, that they're not real, that they're fake characters, and the whole thing is just like this. This is what I don't know. Like this is why like soldiers today kill themselves in like tens of thousands after the war in fucking Iraq. Because they realized, like, all of this was a lie, that he was representing a lying system, just murdering. And, like, living with that reality, you have to fucking use heavy drugs and alcohol on a constantly to just, like, keep the thoughts away.
They
And
probably cruised through there somehow with a camera, and they just cruised the landscape, and that's how they got the ground footage and the background footage. That's all it is, man.
it doesn't matter. They can do anything. Have you seen movies? Everything
Yeah.
in a movie is fake unless it's a documentary.
Well, back then they
Like,
didn't have
every movie-
CGI. Now they could do it easily. It's all CGI now. But back then they had to actually find a spot to do the rear projection. You know what I mean? To make the fake background. Have you ever seen the big replica of the moon that they have in some of the Apollo training?
Yeah.
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 And that's some of the footage when they show like this little fucking the limb or whatever flying through, and then you see the moon's slowly moving. It's just so in your face fake, dude. Yeah, it's like some volcano, I guess, some active shit going on right there. Let me see. Skip through this. Yeah, anyway. Most people don't have any clue about this Apollo Valley. Never heard of it. Don't know shit about it. Don't care. Most people don't care at all about the moon. You know? Like, who gives a fuck? This is my favorite because you could just see that it's just like this James Bond movie right here. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Rear projection is rear projection. It's obvious. It's... When you watch an old TV show from the 70s or the 60s, you see that shit all the time. They're just in a car moving their arms on the wheel.
Yeah.
Like they're moving the wheel all crazy, like you drive like that.
It's all fake. That's the thing. It's all fucking fake. The whole thing is a fucking. And the movies you expect, like, you don't really think about it, but you expect them to be fake, and it's like totally normal. But when this part of reality is just like that, you'd be like, what the fuck?
People are like, "Oh, he's holding it, he's moving it," but it wouldn't kick. The way that flag is moving, that's the wind, man. That's not. Look at that. That's the wind. That's not him moving it. Get the fuck out of here. They had fucking air conditioners and fans in that sound stage. Look how close the background is right there. Look how you see the ground meet that fake background. It's so fake. But yeah, dude, I went through every NASA film for the Apollo missions, right? Every last one of them. And it's just, all anyone has to do is look through that shit and see that it's really terrible. It's like the worst shit ever. Let me see. I got, I collected all the NASA films for Apollo where they actually allegedly landed on the moon, and each mission they made at least one, if not two or three videos. Like Apollo 11, they made like 4 videos. Apollo 12, they made a couple videos, and then as it got later in the shit, they only made like 1 video. They got tired of it. But look, I'll pull up 15. Most of the video is just like the control room. There's very little footage of the actual moon. This right here, you don't even know, is this real or is this a graphic? They don't really say. Who's filming this? Is it, you know how two people went to the moon and the other one stayed in the, right? There was the limb and then the other part of the spaceship. So that footage right there, was that dude filming them, or is this just a model? You don't know. It doesn't even say. Look at this shit. Look at this shit.
What is the temperature on a fucking moon? Because how
Oh,
would
yeah,
you
that's another-
film in 60s? Like in 60s, you
Yeah.
film, you have a tape. And tape
Yeah.
is very sensitive. If you
Right.
have like
Exactly.
freezing condition or real hot, it won't be like
This
how
is a
would
good
they even
point.
film on a moon? I just
This is a good point. I forgot about. I'll go back to that a little bit, but yeah, dude. The temperature of the moon is allegedly between negative 250 Fahrenheit when it's cold, and 250 Fahrenheit when it's hot. So it
Yeah.
goes between those extremes. And
it either if you're in the shade, your film will just crack. It will just like become solid, and instead of like being flexible, it will just like break because it's freezing condition. If it's hot, it will be melted and like disformed, and it won't be able to stay, like fucking just roll there, because one thing would roll it and it would just like stretch it and shit. Just things like that, like they pretend like, oh, there is temperature, but you don't feel it. It's like there is, yeah, okay. As can I go to the sun? It's 6 million degrees, but I won't feel it. Is it will it be the same? Like temperature in space is different. Like it's like there, but it's not there. So maybe you don't need a spacesuit then. Maybe you can just like go without a spacesuit.
yeah,
Temperature is like not.
that's
why
what
do
they
you
say
need
now.
spacesuits?
But dude,
Like if the film survived and the camera doesn't have like the heating or the cooling attached to it, if a camera survived as it is with a film, with a plastic film in it, that means bodies do not need spacesuits. Like the body will survive also. If the film survives, it survives in the condition where body survives. Because if it would be too cold, too hot, it would be damaged and shit.
yeah, there's a video from the Apollo times, and they made a cartoon talking about what would happen to your body if you were exposed to space, and how you would expand and blow up and shit. Have you ever seen that cartoon? Want to see it?
No, but let's watch it. I mean, I heard their arguments what would happen, and the arguments change. Actually, it depends on like who you're listening and when. So some say you like expand and blow up. The others say you will freeze to death. Like
Yeah, I gotta
others
find
say
it.
there's no air, so you'll be fucking dying grasping for air. And
Yeah, let me find that shit. Hold up. Hold up. Alright. Watch this shit. Where the fuck? Oh, here it is. Oh, let me turn the sound on. Let me. I probably got to skip a little of this.
Flashing through the sky struck man with a deep sense of wonder. In space outside our atmosphere remains unseen by man, for the molecules in space are so dispersed that collision with them causes no visible effect. If its trajectory traverses the Earth's atmosphere, it becomes a meteor. Here it begins to collide with more molecules. These collisions become more and more frequent as the meteor descends into the denser air of lower altitudes, causing it to decelerate. Each collision converts some of the energy of motion into heat energy, and the heat continues to increase until the meteor itself becomes incandescent, scribing its visible path through the night sky. Destroyed in the atmosphere by this heating, most meteors present no danger to man. Now and then, one is large enough to survive its passage through the atmosphere to Earth.
Right, this is not it. Let me. There's a part about a spacesuit. Hold on, I might not have this video.
Oh boy, an experiment.
Wait. Where the fuck is it? This might not be it, dude. Piss on it. I don't think this is the right video. Damn it. Yeah, never mind. I don't know where that video is. Sorry about that.
That's fine. I was thinking about the other things, so let me post it in the Discord so maybe you can check it out. Do the other thing I think about, which is like tornadoes, and the YouTube kept recommending me like a bunch of videos of this drone going straight into the fucking tornado. Like these people, they hunt tornadoes and then they take a drone, maybe it's more hard, heavy duty drone, but it's a fucking drone, like a regular quadcopter or whatever the fuck they are, and they fly them into the fucking tornado, past the wall, like the spinning thing, they pass the wall and they see the structure. If you can see in this video, like the tubes that it consists of different like concentric circles inside the tornado. And basically it just shows in I saw a bunch of like those videos from this guy. I guess it's the same guy doing it. But the point is, like, this tornado, when it hits the house, it rips the roof off. And you have the drone penetrating that wind wall. Like, that makes no sense. That shows that the wind wall is not that fucking wind at fucking 50 million miles per hour. So if it's not the wind at 50 miles per hour, then what does the damage? What flips the cars? What rips the roofs off but leaves, like as I noted in a lot of photographs that I posted, like it rips the roof off, but it leaves the clothing on the hangers and posters on the wall, like all the papers is stacked on the table, and like, so there is like 50 million miles per hour wind is right here, but not a little bit below, there is like nothing, so the postcards are untouched. So there's this weird fucking physics, like we do not know the physics of basic, not basic, but like common things that happen on our planet, and this shows it, like that the guy can fly a drone into the tornado and fly as a like part of this fucking system. It shows that we do not understand the processes here, and they're not fucking talking about space, like at least we as a public. But that tells me like the government must know about it. They're not stupid. It's just like I noticed that just by watching the photos and videos of tornadoes, that it's something doesn't add up. They obviously know it, and more than that, they're probably using this fucking technology that tornado is and stuff. It's just weird. Just saying like what could really be going on and what they're saying is going on is like very different things. It could be drastically different. They're telling you they're flying to space. Meanwhile, they have fucking secret bases under the ground with technology that, like, beyond what we can imagine from science fiction, basically. We don't know what's going on. That's the thing. Like, it could be that, like, Manhattan Project. It was hundreds, thousands of, like, people say, if a conspiracy, like, it cannot be like that everybody's in on it and nobody knows about it in public. Like, look at the Manhattan Project. 100,000 fucking workers worked on it, and nobody knew. Maybe some people knew, but it wasn't like printed in the newspapers head like we're doing atomic fucking nuclear weaponry project.
Yeah.
Like nobody know. Soviets are our fucking enemies, the ones that like that they often say about the program. Like if we didn't go to the moon, then the Soviets would expose us. Like we were doing the Manhattan Project, and the Soviets they weren't fucking printing newspaper. Oh, America is, even though they supposedly knew we were doing it, oh, America is making this horrible fucking weapon. They didn't write about it in their newspapers. They didn't expose it. Like they did their own fucking thing. Like this whole thing is
Yeah,
just,
dude, that argument is the lamest argument because all of the military work says need to know basis, top secret, above top secret. You know, there's different security levels.
there's
So-
so many things they did in top secret that we don't know, but that we
Yeah, so
accidentally find out.
That argument
because
is
there
like the
was some-
lamest ever, you know.
Like they sprayed shit in San Francisco. They sprayed some bacteria that got people sick and pretended this never happened for decades.
better under-
And only by accident it came out, and now we can know that they were doing things like this, spraying bacteria to see how the bacteriological weapon would work if the enemies would spray us. So they would, and this bacteria was harmful, and it's like killed some people and injured, and that's what they did, and they did it multiple times, multiple fucking cities, spraying all kinds of fucking shit, and it only comes out by accident. How many projects like this, how many things like this the government does that are not exposed to the public, and it's still a secret. They keep the secret. Otherwise, they go to maybe like on their dime bed. They're like, "Oh yeah, back in the '60s, we sprayed you with some shit," and dies and shit. Like only like this for decades. We do not know.
Hey, I found that video, but it's only part of the video. I'll show it.
Show it.
I don't know why I lost this video, because I remember it. There's some funny ass NASA cartoons from the 60s, man. But anyway, check this out. This is only part of it, though.
Understand the purpose of a lunar spacesuit. Let's let our friend Andy Astronaut demonstrate the hazards lunar explorers will encounter. If Andy were to step out on the surface of the moon without a spacesuit, this is what would happen. In the near vacuum of space, the gases within his body would immediately expand.
Does he have these 3 dots on his face?
His blood would appear to boil from the rapid expansion of gases coming out of solution in his bloodstream. Andy would soon feel the effects of another condition of space, lack of oxygen. After 20 seconds in a vacuum and without oxygen, Andy would be trading in his astronaut wings for a more permanent variety. To better understand the...
Yeah, so there's no oxygen. It'll fucking boil your blood. You'll expand. But somehow the spacesuit stops all that. You know, and like I said, the temperatures are 250 to negative 250 Fahrenheit. Like, dude, if the temperature is 130, you're fucking done, bro. I don't know how hot you've been before. I've been in 125 degree weather in Phoenix and in Baker, and it's fucking unbearable, dude. It's a motherfucker just to be outside.
Yeah.
Like, if it got to 150, it'd be done, dude. And so the only thing in those spacesuits that's cooling you off, they say, is they got these like aquarium tubes that are just running cold water and shit. Well, where's the cold water coming from? Where's the cold water from? They say there's like a mini fridge. Look, there's a
Take
mini
a bunch
fridge.
of ice cubes
There's a mini fridge in there, and it has refrigerant
in
or
a heater in the fridge. Yeah.
bro, it's got.
Why do our firefighters not have this technology? Because they have to.
Why don't
deal
we
with
just
like
have this
very hot-
on Earth? Like on a hot day, we could all just wear our spacesuits and just be chilling.
Yeah.
It does, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like you
It's
need
a secret technology, yeah.
dude, an air conditioner. Just like if it's 90 outside and you want to bring the temperature in, and it's like say it's 80 inside, and you want to bring it down to 70, you're gonna have to run that air conditioner for a while, dude. Maybe a couple hours or at least an hour to get to where you want it to go. You know what I mean? And if it's really hot day, like 100 degrees outside,
Yeah.
fuck, dude, it's gonna be hard to get.
But imagine running that fridge or air conditioner on the batteries that were in the 60s, because today we have pretty powerful batteries like in Teslas and whatever vapes. They're pretty strong. They carry a bunch of power. But back in the 60s, they didn't have that battery technology.
They didn't have no
So
lithium
if
going
you wanna-
on. Nothing.
If you want to run that fridge and the heater and all that shit and the pressure, because you gotta like
They just had that
control the
sulfuric acid, fucking salts, fucking electrolyte salts.
yeah, just basic like the car battery, basically the same fucking technology that the car battery has. And like, how many car batteries would you have to take to space?
And they didn't have no
would it make sense?
alternator, bro. They run that Rover for fucking 10 minutes and it's a wrap. You know what I mean? You had no alternator. How you getting your shit back to 12 volts or whatever? Like, that shit don't last long. If you don't have an alternator recharging that shit, it's a wrap. But what's running the whole spaceship that's flying around? That needs batteries. And then also there's the electronic solder on the circuits of their circuit boards or whatever. Electronic solder at certain temperatures is just going to melt. Then the connections are going to break apart. And then you're fucking done. You die. That's it. There's so many plot holes in this shit. When you break it down, there's like a million plot holes.
Like people who live in extreme cold conditions, like in Far East Russia, Siberia type of conditions, they know that there is a lot, and they get at temperatures only like minus, I don't know, 70 Celsius, which is similar probably in Fahrenheit, but it's not the space temperature, but it's already cold where you're. Like if you have a car and you have some moving parts, they have to have the like lubricants and shit, like these type of things, lubricants, the different liquids and the stuff you have to run machinery, like the brake liquid. They don't function that well under the very cold condition of like minus 70. So you gotta have.
And
like,
electronic
specific-
circuits will just break apart. They're all brittle and
a
shit.
lot
in
of
the
things
cold.
like a car, if you wanna run, like even if the Germans, when the Germans attacked Russia and it was minus 40, minus 30, their tanks, they had to set up fires, just like regular fire. They would use a bunch of gasoline and put it under the tank so engine warms up and it starts running, and it's only minus fucking 40 Celsius, and you already have all your machinery just getting stuck and won't be able to start up. When it's minus 70, it's already extreme, and it's practically a little more, and it's beyond what we can do. Like, if you have the space technology that everything is perfectly works in like fucking space temperature minus 250 Celsius, bring it to the fucking Siberians. They will be happy to have it because they struggle every fucking winter. They struggle with their technology and fucking giving up because it's minus fucking, and 70 is extreme. It's usually like minus 50, minus 40 Celsius. It could hit minus 70, but like their shit breaks down. Bring that technology to them. Bring your spacesuits to them. They will be happy to have a personal heated spacesuit in minus fucking 70 to go out and do things, you know? Like, there is none of that technology. It doesn't exist. It never existed. Within this fucking 60 years, since the 60s, or even 70 years, it never surfaced. It never became like fucking available to the public. Why is that? Is that secret technology is like so secret that we can't talk about it? Like, what the fuck?
Nah,
Sounds like a
trust
fairy
us,
tale.
trust us, bro. They're making inventions up there. They're doing it. They're always like, this is because we went to space, and that's because Tang, because they went to space, they came up with Tang, powdered fucking drinks.
Like people who study volcanoes, we were looking at geologists at the volcanoes. You got to get close to the heat, to the active volcanologist to study a volcano. So you have to have heat protective suits. Like give them those magical space suits that hold temperatures and operate in those conditions.
Well, I think they
like,
do
why?
use those, don't they? They do use
No,
those.
they use just like foil suits. They use highly reflective, like, and they don't look like space suits. I've seen what they use. It's not what, and they don't have
about
like the
those
backpack
radiation
with
suits?
the cooling.
The radiation suits. Remember E.T.? They had those radiation suits.
I don't know.
You never saw E.T.?
Yeah, I might have seen it, but I don't remember it.
Oh, man. Oh, because you're not from America. That was like, if you're from America, dude, you had to watch that movie when, in the 80s, it was mandatory. Every kid had to be indoctrinated into the aliens. But when they're getting ET, when they take them from the people's house, word. What the fuck is up with FaZe, man?
I don't know. I really want to talk to him. He's so fucking, I don't know. Like, he's so reasonable. Whenever I hear him, I'm like, it's just coming from my mind. I'm like, yeah.
Yesterday we were talking about like the fuel in the fucking Artemis. Like, how do they have all this fuel and they're just cruising around for however many days? But you know, one of the NASA answers is like, oh yeah, there's no drag in space. So once you're at a certain speed, you just keep at that speed. You know?
How do you maneuver and change speed?
Exactly, it's nonsense. Just like the ISS. How does the ISS, it just locks in to a spot somehow? How can it maneuver if there's no drag, right? There's no drag. There's no brakes. There's no steering, but it just stays where it wants it to. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Or when they have those jetpack things, they're called the EVAs, and they're flying outside the space shuttle with the jetpack, and they're like, oh well, they got retro rockets, and that's how they scoot around, is the retro rockets. But if there's no drag, if there's nothing to shoot off, you know what I mean? How can you change directions? How can you maneuver? You know, it doesn't add up. But yeah, they'll just just like, dude, with the temperature shit, with the negative 250 to 250 in the spacesuit. Like, remember, did you ever see when Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Joe Rogan and he's like, well, how do they go through those temperatures? And then Neil deGrasse Tyson said, oh, it's just insulation. Yeah, you just insulate it. They have like these little answers like, yeah, you just insulate it. It's just insulated. But it doesn't really explain anything. It's just some bullshit. It's like saying gravity when they're like, well, it's just gravity. You know, it's just like a magic word that's supposed to answer everything, and it doesn't answer shit. Retro rockets, gravity, heat shields. They'll say heat shield. How do they stop all the heat from hitting the ISS, you know, the negative 250, the 250? Because they don't have industrial air conditioners up there. They don't have furnaces to keep the shit warm. They just have heat shields, right? A heat shield or insulation. That's it. I don't know what the insulation is, because there's no, you know what I mean? On Earth, you got all this insulation you put into a wall. You know, fiberglass and shit. Are you on your phone or what?
No. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the temperature thing is a major problem in their whole story of the ISS and going to the moon. It's a huge problem. But that one of the things they'll say, one of the answers they'll tell you is, like they were just talking about, how the molecules are so spread apart that you don't feel temperatures the same way in space. Well, if you don't feel the temperatures the same way in space or whatever, or in a vacuum or whatever the fuck it is, how are you able to take those temperature readings? How did they do that exactly? You know what I mean?
No, so it's very simple. If you don't feel the temperature the same, then why do you need a spacesuit? Just go out in your
Well, you need
underwear,
oxygen.
like,
Oxygen for one reason.
yeah, have a
Pressure.
pipe,
Pressure's
have
another reason.
supply
Oxygen,
How do
pressure,
they
and
maintain-
temperature.
I didn't see them maintaining pressure, but okay, whatever.
It's supposed to, yeah, it's supposed to maintain your pressure, right? You're pressurized, like on an airplane or some shit like that. But it's all nonsense. I know with a vacuum, I've seen experiments in the vacuum where they'll boil water at different temperatures, because inside a vacuum it does change everything, right? But that still doesn't. When something is negative 250 Fahrenheit.
So here's a question. We have let's say fucking Elon Musk satellites. We have a whole bunch of equipment that uses processors. They uses like our electronics, not some new fucking space electronics, because I don't hear about that. It's just regular electronics that we use here. So when you use like current to calculate, to do a bunch of calculations, it generates heat. How do they get rid of heat on the satellites that are orbiting Earth? Those little boxes that only receive and transmit signal and process it. Like how do you get rid of heat? So their components would be constantly heating up, and the heat would be adding and adding and adding, because you cannot put a cooler there, because cooler here works. We have molecules. You have no molecules in space, according to you physicists. That it
Well, they got heat shields, bro. Heat shields. Kevlar heat shields.
No. If you have a heat shield, you shield yourself from external heat, but you have interior heat from the electronical components that are doing calculations and bombarded with electricity that produces extra heat. And the way that we do in conventional electronics, we have like heat sinks. We have cooling systems, but
you got
they all
fans.
use the concept that there are molecules heating and diffusion of heat into the fucking molecular movement. Basically, it diffuses that way. If you have no molecules in space, how do all those electronic components keep themselves cool instead of just constantly heating and heating and heating, and it's just like until they're just melt? Like,
well,
it
they
just
do
doesn't
have
make
them.
sense.
They do have them flying
can-
around on balloons, but as far as being in deep space or whatever,
They can't have it both ways. If you're saying there is no molecules and there is no fucking heating, then it applies to fucking everything, and especially the electronics in space. Like space station uses electronics. They bring laptops and everything. Like all of this, they won't be able to lose the heat. Like you cannot lose it to space because there is no molecules in space. You don't exchange. You can't just like make a brick of heat and throw it in space. Like it has to go through molecular, like one molecule that are moving very fast, hitting another one and slowing down, and the temperature it becomes less because it's now moving with a less amplitude. But the other molecule became faster, and that's why the energy transferred from molecules here to molecules that are expanded, like air molecules. But there is no air, so if the vacuum has no molecules, how the fuck do they lose heat? There is no way to lose heat.
You know, in space, the physics are a lot different, especially in a vacuum. That's what they're going to tell you.
Yeah, it's so different that we cannot tell you how it works.
And they got a heat shield. We got a heat shield. We got insulation. Don't trip. We got this.
Dude, it's all a fucking charade. It's all a charade.
For sure. No one wants to look at it. I mean, most people don't even care. They're like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Oh, yeah, we went to the moon. Dude, the day that they were coming back, supposedly, from space or whatever, there was in California, there was some shit in the sky, and because all these fools are like, yeah, it's coming in right now. I was like, what? I'm like, man, fuck that. Earth is flat, dude. I don't believe that dumb shit. The people I work with, I'm just like, dude, Earth is flat, dude. Fuck that. Fuck that dumb shit. You think the rockets are real? Come on, bro. I don't even try to debate or reason with these people. I'm just like, that shit's fake. And that's the end of the discussion, dude. That ends it right there.
I don't know what it is for real. I wouldn't be like. You see, I exposed so many lies. I exposed so much bullshit that I do not say with confidence that I know what like that's a lie, but this is truth. I do not know the truth, fucking physics or how everything operates or how it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in reality.
All I
It's
know is
like
they're lying to us on the whole NASA shit. That's all I really
I
know.
know I've been lied to about like everything. Almost every subject out there. There's so many lies and propaganda. And I know who does that. I know who lies, and these people, they're just like you can't trust them. You just can't trust them. They will do whatever. They have no like fucking feeling that oh this is humanity. I'm responsible for this part of knowledge that I give to humanity and I can't fool all of them. That's evil. Like they don't have that thing. They're totally. It's like you lying to your kids. They're treating us as like imbeciles, basically, not mentally there enough to fucking comprehend the real thing. So they just tell us fairy tales like, oh, it's the tooth fairy that comes and takes your teeth. Don't worry, and leaves the presents for you. Like this type of shit, and they're treating us as like fucking brainless individuals, and that's just like the Santa Claus is real, totally. Like this type of shit, and you hear it like everywhere. It's discouraging. You do not know what is the real reality because like people responsible for giving you that picture, not even people, it's our own perception, works in a way that is counter like let's say the computer was operating as it is like the PC right now that you're using to communicate with me, you would have to sit there with a dial and have a current, switch it very fast, like in many places, the current on and off, fluctuating the current, and there is no ones and zeros even there because we use ones and zeros to program, it's just electrical circuits. The reality of the true reality of the computer is electrical circuits, and the signal that you get from me, like my voice or my video, if there was a video, would be product of those electrical circuits and the electricity doing its thing, the electric like while meeting the transistors and other components, and that would be the reality, and you won't be able to manipulate all of them with your fingers or whatever because you don't even have the tools
Well, first of all,
to operate.
in space, all the electronic solder would melt, or it would be too cold and break apart, and you would just die. The circuits would fall apart, and you would crash to your death. You know what I mean? Once you pass the alleged Kármán line, right? 62 miles out, or 100 kilometers is the fucking Kármán line. But have you ever looked into the they had the X Prize and what's his name, Richard Branson? Remember Richard Branson was gonna go to space with his fucking Spaceship One or some shit like that. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
And then what? Lance Bass was gonna pay millions of dollars to go to space or whatever. All these celebrities, and then it never even got to. I think finally it didn't do shit for like 10 years. Someone died. Someone probably was gonna snitch, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy has to die." So they only got like 50 miles up or close to 60. Then finally, it was like 5 or 10 years later, they finally got it to 60 something. So they said, "Oh, we went to space," but they totally didn't go to space. And they had this thing called the X Prize. And yeah, I think there's some sort of barrier at that point. There is some sort of barrier. I don't think it's a dome. It could be there's some sort of physical barrier, and they really haven't passed that shit, man. That's what I think. But I can't prove it one way or another. What do you think?
I think this whole fucking system is like a fucking movie. So in a movie you could have anything. Like in George Orwell's 1984 book, that the stars could be far or they could be close. And it's the government that decides that they're close or far. So the whole reality, it could be like this or it could be that. But in reality, you will never know. We're small people. We're not put in a position where we can check these things, and you will not be able to learn enough science because it's just like
Well,
too
dude, when
much
you see those
science for
spy
one
planes
person.
and those fighter jets that are going way above like commercial level, what do commercial fly at 30,000 or something like that, and those other ones fly at a higher altitude. They're wearing fucking oxygen masks and shit. You know what I mean? And it's like there has to be, but then you see the astronauts when they take off, they're wearing all the fucking suits and the helmets. But then when they're in space, they're just floating around and doing backflips and shit. They're not wearing nothing on the ISS, right? So there's something's going on there, right? Because a fucking, a spy plane pilot or a jet fighter pilot, he's got on a fucking oxygen mask and shit. And those motherfuckers, they get fucking vertigo and shit, you know?
Yeah, like why can't the planes get the pressurized cabin with like perfect temperature control?
Like the
Why?
ISS.
Yeah.
The ISS,
makes
they're just
sense.
flying around and they're having fun. They don't have to wear an oxygen mask and shit.
Okay, everything. It's like it's not fair. You expose the whole shit. Like, what are
Do you
you
believe
doing?
in the revelation of the method? You know about
No.
you don't think that's legit?
I think it's like has to do with like symbolism and spiritualism, and like those things are not solid for me. Like what tells like I'm a thief, like say I'm a bad guy, I'm a murderer, like do I have to come and tell I will murder you and then the next day surprise you with a murder? No, I will just fucking murder you. If I want to murder, I murder. If I want to steal, I steal. I don't have to tell you shit. Why would I tell you shit? It exposes my fucking thing, and
It's
then you can
supposed
defend
to
yourself. Then I
exonerate
can
their
get caught.
karma or some shit. Or
Like it's karma. I don't like it's not spiritual world. I don't anything that has to do with spiritual world. I'm like this
you don't
material
believe it,
fucking
but
world.
people believe it. I think the world
This
leaders.
fucking physical world is an illusion and it's a fucking lie everywhere. You don't know what to believe in a physical world. How can you believe in spiritual
You don't
world
think some
where
of these
no
people
proof is
are
possible?
Satan worshippers or they're druids
Possibly,
or
could be
I mean,
anything,
you seen the
anything.
Queen doing druid ceremonies and other.
Maybe.
Yeah, some of these people appear to be
I
into
don't
like
deny that it's possible at
demonology.
all. I have no certainty in this. It seems like they're some sort of fucking Satanist,
Well,
definitely.
I mean, in the WikiLeaks, and I don't think the WikiLeaks are totally legit. But do you know about the Thelema, the email of Podesta asking, someone's asking Podesta or he's asking someone for a favor, and he says a Thelema favor, and you know what Thelema is, right?
It was something to do with what's his name in
Aleister
the beginning
Crowley.
of the series. Aleister Crowley, yeah,
It's
yeah,
his
some
religion.
of his things.
Thelema is the OTO.
I don't really follow that. Like, I try to stick the
Well,
real
that
world
was Hillary's
information in my
campaign
head to my.
manager. He's
Yeah.
into that, and they have lodges just like the Freemasons.
Like the spiritual cooking, the dilemma favor. I mean, I heard about these things, yeah, but
You never
that's
saw
the
it? I
thing.
mean-
That's the thing. Like, I find it very strange that like Epstein will have this beef jerky. Like they all have these code words. Like it's too easy. I mean, it's almost like they want us to because it's
This
like,
is what I
if
think,
you-
man. That there is good people in intelligence. There's a few good people, and they kind of put these hints out there because they can't just come out and say this is what's going on because they will die, they will be tortured, and they will go through
there
hell.
can't be good people in intelligence. Like they can't be good cops because you see what your coworkers doing. And the only path is to
Well,
fucking
you think
come
it's
out and
hackers?
say they're
You
criminal.
think there's good hackers? Because I think all hackers are part of intelligence. So it had to be some intelligence person or a
So,
hacker.
Ernest, if you know about like security, you know that there is no way to be secure. If you're communicating on the internet, if you're doing things on the internet, you can't be secure. There's always traces. Even if you build the computer
I know.
yourself from the components, you still there is no like
Yeah, I
fucking
know all this.
safety. So
But I
how
don't
do the
believe in
hackers?
hackers like that. They're lone people. I think all hackers are working for a
No, I mean
government.
there could be a 13-year-old genius
I
who
don't believe
just
that
like I
shit.
wanna
I don't believe that
fucking.
story, bro. That's a story that they put out there in movies for you
No,
to
I
believe.
totally believe in 13-year-old geniuses because
Yeah, if a
there are just
13-year-old genius
statistically
breaks
there
through
are.
some security and whatever, then when they get arrested, now they work for the government. That's how that works.
Now
Like
they work
Kevin,
for the government. That's exactly how it works. Yeah, there is no 13-year-old. I'm saying at first he's like a hacker. He exposes something, but then he get caught. All of the big hacker, if you're like, no, maybe there's like hackers who don't do anything public at all. They hack in and they don't publish because like the community of hackers, they're like, oh, we're elite fucking anonymous, here's what we publish. Oh, we're elite fuck anonymous, and here's what we publish. And they're like, they're brands, they're competing, or who like
yeah,
has
no,
a
I
bigger
had homies
hacker.
that were all into that shit. They went to like Defcon and HopeCon, and they used to meet.
Nah,
Like,
Defcon is full of fads. It's just like that's where all
well,
the
now it is.
fads
When
are.
it first started, that was like when it first, like the first DEF CON, that was more legit. But he's told me he went to the first DEF CON, and he was like, dude, they had a game called Find the Fed, but meanwhile, probably 75% of the people are there are feds. You know what I mean? But now
Nah, man.
100% are feds.
There are good people. There gotta be good people who are good with computers and they can hack into
Yeah, some
things.
security people, but they're not going to risk their lives to expose the truth. No real person that I'm sure there's people that can hack that shit and do that shit, but they ain't going to do it because they know if by chance they do get busted, their life will be hell. They'll be like fucking the dude.
But that's the thing. That's the first thing you find out is you go into hacking. You got to learn it from somebody. You don't just come up with all the things yourself. And you deal with the community, with community resources of information. And the first thing they're gonna talk about like operation safety, how to not get caught, and they're gonna explain how easy it is to get caught and how many ways you can get caught in. And just like with that, you're gonna be like, fuck it, I ain't doing shit because anything I do is like a fucking leave traces and it leads right to me. And why would I want to do that? Like,
Have you ever heard of 2600 Hackers Quarterly?
no.
This is an old magazine, and it was like a little zine. And in a lot of major cities, they would post in that zine. This is like before HopeCom and DEFCON. They would have these meetups at certain spots. Like in LA, they had a meetup at the train station where they would meet, where all these phones were at and shit. But if you think about, and like I knew people that went to this shit, cause dude, I used to know this hacker freaker dude, and he sold me a red box so I could get free phone calls and all this shit back in the day. This is before cell phones and shit, you know. But when people were first cloning cell phones, this fool was doing it and shit, you know. But anyway, if you think about it, who made that fucking magazine was probably a Fed, you know. It was an underground zine, but still, dude, they would have these meetups, and who showed up on these meetups? Anyone could have showed up. So a Fed could have showed up. You know what I mean? I just think that whole scene, just knowing people. My friend, he got busted when he was 15 for hacking into some shit, right? I think and he wasn't shit, dude. But I think if they see that you are about some shit, they're gonna you're hired. You know what I mean? You're gonna work for them, and that's how it happens.
But
No
it's
one
so
just-
easy. Like you get busted, and they tell you go with this big black dude in the fucking jail cell, and you're gonna have a lot of fun for the next fucking 10 years with your asshole, or you're gonna work for us and get good money. And like, what are you gonna choose? I mean, who's gonna go in the cell with Jerome?
Hey, you seen the movie War Games, right?
Yeah.
With
gave it.
Matthew Broderick, Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's supposed to be based on Kevin Mitnick. You know about Kevin Mitnick?
Yes, yes.
Hey, but you know that part where he makes that phone call with the bottle cap? We used to do that shit. That's a real thing, or it used to be.
Yeah.
Remember he's on that island, and then they're trying to make a phone call, and they don't have no money, and then he gets like a bottle cap, and he gets a metal, and he takes the wrist where you talking to the phone or something, he unscrews it, and he takes a wire and he touches it. We used to do that shit all the time, dude. That was a real fucking thing. But anyway, man.
I don't know. I had a coin on this train in Russia. I had a coin on this train. You would just like fucking put it in there so it like swallows it and
there
you
was
take
that
it
trick.
out,
People
right?
used to do that at video games. You drill a hole in a quarter, and on a string, and you just pull it out. And then we'd get $1, and then you get like comic book covers to protect that plastic.
Yeah,
yeah. You get that shit, right, and you make a strip like 20 inches long, and then you tape it to a dollar bill so that it's 16 inches long from the dollar bill, and then you put it in. This used to work. It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You put it in a vending machine and you pull it out real quick, and you would get the change and the drink. Dude, we would empty vending machines. That shit was so good. That was like early 90s, but that shit is dead now. Unless you find an old machine. It won't work on these. Dude, we used to rob vending machines all the time. That was the shit. But, that was good times. But, dude, I don't know what's up with FaZe. He's probably sleeping. So, he probably wakes up in a couple hours or something. But, dude, I'm gonna turn this off. It's been a while. But I wanna talk to him. Maybe tomorrow or sometime in the next few days we'll do this again or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wanna talk more about the current moon landing bullshit, because I haven't even really looked into it, but I know it's full shit. But I want to see what he was talking about, because he was talking about the fuel situation, and I want to see where did he get that picture he had of it, like it's the same picture, the blue marble, both times. See what his source is on that, because dude, anyone could put some fucking meme up on Google or something, you know what I mean? You know
The truth is, I don't even want to look into these things because everything is AI, could be AI. You can't tell things apart from fucking AI generated. It's very hard these days.
No, I want to look
just
into
like
it a
no
little
point.
bit.
I
don't
know
really
what
care,
I know.
but
Like,
I'll look into it a little bit, you know. But I'm not gonna.
I don't need to
over it.
prove to myself that they fucking lied to us a million times. I know they did.
I know.
If they lied a
But I like
million
to talk-
times, they will
talk
lie a
about it.
million more. No, I mean, I like to talk about it, but I'm just like, I'm not obsessed. I never looked into it because I'm not like obsessed with reinforcing the structure. I already built it.
Yeah, dude, Russian Vids is already taking care of it. Bart Sobral, they're taking care of it. So I don't really have to add to it. I don't have to make a video on it, but I'll look at it and talk about it. But I'm not going to spend a lot of energy trying to take down NASA, because it's not going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to go, dude. I'm going to rage quit.
Okay, good night.
All right, late. But I'm gonna play the song. I played a couple versions of it already. I think it's pretty good.
Manny, 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 you little beach, you little beach, you little beach, nigga, nigga, nigga. Yo, Manny, really triggered, really triggered, trigger. Trick. Trigger. You little beach, nigga. You're drug addicts. Manny. You little beach, nigga.